Greetings, friends. My name is Carson Barlow, and welcome to Humanity 3.0.
Intro, party time, excellent, wow, 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 wow.
Buckle yourselves in, because I'm about to throw some controversy your way. It's possible that we human beings could be nothing more than really smart animals. When you study the theory of evolution long enough, you'll find out that back when dinosaurs were a thing, we used to look like this guy. So us humans didn't come around until about 146,000 years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, civilization didn't start until about 10,000 BCE. Sorry, Sid Meier. To put that in perspective, that's just a little over 1% of human existence where we lived in societies larger than tribes and packs. In spite of such a drastic change for such a short time period, us humans are quite keen at adapting. It doesn't take long for a new situation to become the new norm. For example, could you ever go back to having a non-smartphone? Oh, someone's texting me. 1 second. You know, I keep thinking about how the older generations keep on giving the younger generations crap. Well, back in my day, we didn't have the GPS. Right, you had maps, which were mass-produced using electricity that could very well likely have been generated by splitting atoms. Oh, and how did you get around? With machines that had dynamically controlled explosions numbering thousands per minute. I'm talking about your car. Yeah, and I'm sure even your ancestors would have been like, well, back in my day we didn't have them cars. We got ourselves around with a horse and buggy. Each generation more spoiled than the last. But I digress. My point is that any technology beyond fire and stone tools is a luxury for just under 99% of human existence. Think about that for a minute. Back then we had to constantly watch our backs for predators and live in caves. Ever wonder why as a kid you were afraid of the dark and liked to build forts? Well, now you know. Back then, resources for basic survival were scarce. There wasn't always enough food to go around, and basic medical attention or prevention wasn't even a thing. Heck, I'm sick now and my biggest worry is, gee, am I going to make my deadlines at work? Not, is this actually going to kill me? You know, when I think about the world today, you realize that there's been more than enough food to go around for quite some time. We also have enough to provide everybody with high school level education, preventative medical care, and enough clothes to protect everyone from the elements. And then when you also consider that there's 65 people out there that have just as much wealth as 1/2 of the world's population does combined, it really starts making you wonder. Now, I'm not about to call for broad strokes of socialized policies that will automatically take money from the rich and just redistribute it to the poor. This is definitely a much more complicated issue than that, but I'm definitely open for discussion. In fact, I'm not entirely sure I know what is to be done about all this. But what I do know is that for over 99% of our human existence, we've had to fight amongst ourselves for the basic resources we've needed for survival. And that simply is not the case anymore. And that mentality simply no longer suits us. We have enough to go around. In fact, it's our inability to share that is actually causing a strain on our resources. Imagine, if you will, if each country could reallocate their military expenses. Yeah. And while I know that this is a much more complicated issue than I've been stating, I do assert that we as humanity need to take a step back and realize how freaking amazing we have it. We should strive to make societies that are founded upon making sure that everyone has what they need to live, rather than on trying to get more and more and more. While competition has served us well, I believe that humanity has outgrown the need for much of it. Especially when it creates a situation in which 3/4 billion people don't even have access to clean drinking water. Well, my friends, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. This video, like all my other videos, are really just conversation starters. So please be respectful in the comments below, and I'd love to know what you're thinking. And as always, stay classy, my friends. Well, back in my... And now I have my outro.